Hi everyone. Yesterday, the United Nations Human Rights Council voted 29-2 to conduct an independent investigation into the atrocities that Israel have been inflicting on Palestinians in Gaza, specifically last week when they killed over 60 protesters in one day when the Americans opened the new US Embassy in Jerusalem. 29-2. So who were the two people who voted against it? Well, United States, obviously. Say people, countries. And Australia. Wow, Australia voted against it. I expected the Americans to. Can't understand why Australia would. This is a slam dunk. Anybody who's seen any of my reports or any reports from anywhere, it's a slam dunk that they've got to be investigated for this. I personally think investigation, waste of time. Just slap them with sanctions. That's the way you stop it. This is the way we stopped, or one of the major reasons how we stopped apartheid in South Africa was by way of sanctions. You cripple a country into doing the right thing. But obviously that's not going to happen while Israel is basically the United States garrison in the Middle East. The Independent have reported on this because there was one of the countries that abstained was the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom abstained from voting for an investigation into the crimes committed by Israel against Palestinians in Gaza. Gaza is basically an open-air prison right now. And the United Kingdom, who say that we're so moral, our government says we're moral, and we bomb Assad because he killed some of his own civilians, or some civilians with a chemical attack. We often bomb them based on no evidence whatsoever, it turns out. So the Independent report on it. Gaza, United Nations to launch war crimes investigation into Israeli forces shooting of protesters. United Nations Human Rights Chief slams Israel wholly disproportionate response. Wholly disproportionate response is, that's putting it mildly in my opinion. This article in the Independent, and this is why I class the Independent as the best media outlet, or mainstream media outlet, or corporate media outlet, whatever you want to call it, in the UK, because they don't beat around. They tell people exactly what we need to know. They don't whitewash things. They don't try and bury the lead or anything in their articles. They tend to be quite fair in their reporting. Don't get me wrong, I am not saying they're brilliant. They're just the best of an extremely bad bunch, in my opinion. The article says this: commenting on the UK's abstention from the vote, the London-based anti-poverty charity War on Want told the Independent it's disgraceful that the UK has abstained from the United Nations Human Rights Council vote for a commission of inquiry into Israel's killing of unarmed Palestinians in Gaza. Rivka Bernard, the charity's senior campaigner on militarism on security, said, in doing so, the UK has gone against a broad international consensus among leading international, Palestinian and Israeli human rights organisations which agree that the only way to approach justice is through an independent inquiry. Trusting that Israel can fairly and neutrally investigate its own war crimes is an insult to any common sense definition of justice and makes a mockery of the UK's stated commitment to international law, human rights and accountability. Rivka Bernard, I couldn't have put that better myself. That's exactly my feeling of it. It makes a mockery of it. How are we meant to take the high road if we can't even condemn a country who is openly killing people in wheelchairs with no legs? He's openly killing babies and children. He's openly shooting pregnant women in the stomach and calling it one shot, two kills. There's videos, I'll show a video up here, of snipers just taking out an unarmed man and then the sniper cheering. They're pointing weapons and killing medics who are treating the victims. They're killing journalists with press written clearly on their chest that you can see through a sniper rifle. This is picking people off. It's murder. It's cold-blooded murder. And the fact that the UK has not come out and condemned it and voted for an independent inquiry is astounding to me. It's the very least the UK government should have done. Personally, I think sanctions is the way to go. You cripple the country by putting incredible sanctions on them, the same way that the rest of the Western world did with South Africa when it was an apartheid country. And the Independent have reported on this fairly. Unfortunately, they seem to be the only news outlet in the UK who have done so. The Guardian, the wank stain of a newspaper of the Guardian. By the way, I did a video yesterday on the Guardian where I actually praised them for giving Julian Assange's lawyer right of reply. As soon as the video was uploaded, I went over to Twitter to check Twitter, and I instantly regretted it, because on there was a link from the Guardian to another hit piece that Luke Harding had done, amongst other people had written it. So I'll probably cover that in the live show tomorrow. I'm doing that 20th of May, so I might cover that in the live show. That's going to air at 9 PM GMT, which I believe is about 4 PM Eastern time. Please, somebody note in the comments if that's wrong. But the Guardian on this subject said this: Australia and the United States oppose UN move for independent inquiry into Gaza violence. Among the countries that voted, 29 were in favour, 14 abstained, and only 2 were against the investigation. In the article, 29 countries, an overwhelming majority, voted to urgently set up an independent international commission of inquiry to investigate recent violations of human rights and international humanitarian law there. Only 2 countries voted against the proposal, Australia and the United States, although another 14 abstained. Do you think the Guardian mentioned that the United Kingdom were one of those countries that abstained from the easiest vote in human rights history? Or recent history, rather. They haven't even mentioned it in their article. Surprise, surprise. I went and started looking, and I couldn't find any other outlet, any other mainstream or corporate or establishment outlet in the UK that have even mentioned anywhere buried in an article that the UK abstained from this vote. The Independent, as far as I can tell, is the only one. Here's the Sun. The Sun had a great headline, by the way. They're caged in toxic slum. Israel slammed by United Nations for killing 106 Palestinians, including 15 kids, in just 2 months amid Gaza Strip protests. United Nations Human Rights Chief Zayed Rayad Al-Hussein, I'm sorry if I just butchered your name, buddy, said Palestinians were deprived of humanity and had the right to protest. Again, nowhere in that article did it say the UK abstained from the vote and pussied out from doing their duty. Nowhere. And I can't find, if somebody can find one, please let me know. So surely the unbiased, neutral BBC have said, the UK, yeah, we abstained. That's bad. Israel's Gaza response, wholly disproportionate. United Nations Rights Chief is their title. In their article, the only mention of the vote at all is this paragraph: the United Nations Human Rights Council voted to set up an independent investigation. That's it. That's all the BBC have said on it. Do you think the citizens of the United Kingdom, after seeing all these horrific crimes, after seeing, is it 115 I just read out, people have been killed in since March the 30th? 115 people have been murdered. For what? Getting close to a fence. Including people in wheelchairs with no legs. Including children. Including medics. including reporters. The latest figures are 115 have been killed, around 1,500 were shot by snipers, and over 10,000 have been injured. In what? 5 weeks? 6 weeks? Unarmed. And don't give me this, oh, they had a slingshot, for Christ's sake. Yes, they've got a slingshot. Some of these snipers are 700 yards away. How the hell is a slingshot meant to reach that? How far do you think a slingshot can go? 100 yards maybe? They say Molotov cocktails. How far do you think you're going to be able to throw a Molotov cocktail? They're not armed. It's cold-blooded murder. And the UK, it's the easiest thing to do. It's going to pass anyway. It was 29-2, was it, the vote? So even if you don't want to, just do it as a symbolic gesture. But they don't do it. Why not? Because they'll piss off the Israel lobby over here in the UK. The people who fucking send money to the Conservative government and fund the Conservatives. It's pathetic. And look how the media have portrayed it. You know what I thought when I saw this and I was compiling it all? I thought, what would happen if this was Iran doing it and not Israel? What do you think the vote would have been then? And not only do you think, what do you think the vote would have been then? What do you think the action would have been? Because no action has been taken against Israel at all. None. This has not been going on for 6 weeks. This has been going on for years. And it doesn't matter what Gaza does. It doesn't matter what the Palestinians do. And it doesn't matter what Hamas does. They protest. They protest peacefully. They get shot. They're violent. They get shot. They do nothing. They get shot. They get murdered. What would happen if Iran were doing this? What would happen? I put it to you that if Iran were doing what Israel is doing right now, and it was Iran doing it to the Palestinians and not instead of Israel, Tomahawk missiles would be launched at that country faster than you can say United Nations Human Rights Council. The place would be fucking bombed into obliteration by the United States, and obviously their lapdogs, the United Kingdom and France, would join in as well. It's horrific that these crimes are being committed, and it's disgusting that the United Kingdom can't even vote to send... I mean, nothing's going to happen from this investigation. Nothing is going to happen. Sanctions aren't going to happen. We know what's going on over there. We've seen the pictures. We've read the stories. And the UK can't even have the balls to say, yeah, this is wrong, send in an investigation, let alone put sanctions on a country that time and time again has shown that it has no problem violating human rights, committing war crimes, and just treating people totally inhumanely. The United Kingdom government can't even give a symbolic vote to say, yes, have an investigation, when they know nothing is going to come from the investigation anyway. And shame on Australia. I can't wait to hear what Caitlin Johnson's going to say about that. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and please click the bell down there so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Otherwise, YouTube will hide the video from you. Yes, they have admitted that they do that. Also, we're facing an absolute onslaught in independent media from the establishment at the moment, including YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube whatsoever. I rely totally on the audience for me to continue doing this. So if you can afford to send me $2, $3, $5, whatever it is that you can afford through Patreon, again, the link is down there, I will be eternally grateful, and it'll allow me to keep giving you the truth and cut through the propaganda and the BS that we get from the corporate and establishment media. If you can't afford to do it, please share the video as wide as you can. Talk to your friends and family about the issues that I and other channels on YouTube who are independent raise. Thanks very much for your support. We have to fight back against this. Till next time, peace and take care.